What's going on, guys, and welcome back to ShoeTube. Today we are going to work on Project Silverado, which I had a video a while back on buying a old beat up truck and trying to, get it looking better and whatnot. And I still have it. Haven't done a whole lot to it. Put some really cheap wheels on it, some tires on it. Now I'm gonna switch it around and show you what else we did to it, but here we go. So here's Mr. Project Silverado at the certain stage. It is a 1999 Silverado 2500, 6.0 liter gas automatic, 20-inch tires, 20-inch rims. Actually 33 1250 R20s. I think they're called Federal Courageia MTs, which I really like them. I mean, it pulls trailers good and everything else. But I bought this truck. I had a work van, and I bought it to fix it up and possibly flip. I got it for 2,500 bucks, and it's been a great truck. So I got rid of the van and I started driving this. And now we had purchased a gooseneck car haul trailer. So we took the bed off, which the bed wasn't in the best of shape, but we took the bed off and we put a gooseneck hitch on it, which I got on Facebook Marketplace for $180, which it's a BW, not to be confused with a BMW, but I believe they're BWs. And I think I pressure washed the sticker off of it too. So anyways, and we are getting to the point now where I'm going to put air springs on. Firestone air springs, ride rates. Don't know what the model number is, if there even is such a thing. But that's what we're going to work on today. And I've started, as you can tell, getting it out of the package and looking through this so I didn't look like a complete idiot, but it doesn't look too awful bad. But just in case, what I'm gonna do is I put a jack under the back hitch so I can lift the actual frame up and the axle stays on the ground, so I can get a little bit of space in here where we're gonna put the airbag. So without further ado, I'm Scott, welcome to YouTube. Thanks for coming back, or thank you for coming to the channel. Please click down below to the subscribe button and hit the notification so you don't miss any videos. And don't worry, you don't have to watch a video every day because sometimes I'm slack and don't post a video but once a month. But I'd like to do more. Warmer weather's coming and we'll see. But anyways, we're gonna show you the basics of putting this in. Don't know anything about it. Have never, ever, ever done this before. But you know what? Just like you guys, you put your mind to it, it can't be that bad, right? And if you screw up, well, then you screw up. And if you fail, that's the best thing ever, because what happens when you fail? You crawl back out of the ditch and you are a better person for it. So here we go. So this is the best angle I can get with my limited crap that I have in this thing. But this is the bottom plate that sits on top of your axle and your bump stop. The bump stop plate at the bottom. That has a little bolt in there. It's a flathead with a hex for a T-hex wrench, and it has a groove in it so you can slide it back and forth, I imagine, to adjust it. So that's pretty simple. You bolt that onto that, and then you got to see where it's going to go on the vehicle, which you have this plate with an angle on it, and you got to make sure this is angled right, because you don't want it angling away from the plate. You want it angling where it's probably like that, where it bolts onto the airbag. Okay, and it's going to bolt on there, and your air fittings are going to go on here, and it's going to mount where it's going to face where you need it to face. So that's pretty simple. I'm going to go over here real quick and just test fit this before I move the camera because it's a pain in the butt. Enough dead air, but so now you got to watch, and you're gonna have a brake line down in here. So when you put this plate in, okay, this plate slides over here, and right there you have a brake line, which it's in the way, but there's a bolt there, and the brake line runs underneath that, and the plate's gonna fit right there where it's at. So you're gonna have to unbolt that and move it over so you don't squish that line. So that's what we're gonna do now. So for now, as you can see, that was over there. We want to take that bolt out and shift this over, keep it away from that plate, and we will relocate it. As we're supposed to. So that's that. Alrighty then. So on this particular truck, this is the way it's gonna go. This side, the big side with this part on here is gonna go around or towards the wheel, and it's gonna set in there. This notch is just gonna set over the axle, and this is the driver's side. This is the wheel side. So your screw that holds the bottom in right there is gonna just be over just a little bit, like about a little over ½ inch from the side. And then you want to tighten her down. And you got to make sure you keep the top straight, because these bolts got to line up, because it's going to be twisted the right way. And then also you want to find something that's going to fit on here like so. And you're going to want to bolt your top plate, everything together when you start. And just go the right way though. And then you want to get your air elbow, I guess you want to call it. That's what I'll call it, but it's your air fitting for your air hose. And you want to turn it in. And you don't want to, you want to point it the right way, but you don't want it pointed towards this. So tighten it, but don't over tighten it, because if you go this way, there's a good chance you're not going to go all the way around again without busting that. So tighten it up and just go wherever you can, so you know you can get the hose stuck in there. And I want to make sure how the hose goes in. A better view. I'm going to do the best I can. So you're going to be watching right around in here for me to put the airbag in. And the air hoser. I should have broke the air hose up in a couple different pieces. But it's one long piece, so I guess you cut it off how you want to. And it's a nice, pretty Firestone red color. And I'm going to try to sit it down there in place. Squeeze it in here through all the thick and thin. And set it down like so. Off the brake line she go. And of course, you can get to the airline, so that's not that big of a deal. I'm gonna let the truck down. Now this truck does not have lift blocks on it. So if you have lift blocks, you may have to put the bag on top of your lift blocks. I really don't know. And I made a big mistake. Of course, put your bolts in the plate beforehand. Don't make the mistake I just did. Good Lord. Get these in hand. Oh my Lanta, it's still not coming off. Sweet Christmas. I love it when a plan doesn't come together. Let's try that. Come on, give me enough space. Thank you, Lord. So you see what I did on camera, I hope, but you have to put the bolt in at least the one side of this bracket, because with the airbag it won't fit. I'm sure you guys can find a way, but I wouldn't want to. And then tighten your bracket down. Pressure wash this beast off. And hey. What are you getting ready to do, bud?
I was gonna ask if I can ride.
Okay, go ahead.
What? Is something wrong?
No, I'm just trying to work on something here. I just wanted to make sure you didn't need anything right off the bat. So this giant U-bolt goes around the U-bolts for the actual leaf springs, and that keeps this plate on this side, which I will move the camera and show you as soon as I get everything in place. Which is hard because the camera is in my way. Now. There we go. Really? We're gonna recap on this one. I keep getting interrupted. You wanna mount your bottom plate, and you wanna mount your hex head screw about a 1/2 inch from the edge to keep it away from the wheel and the frame and everything. And you want to come up to the top, and you want to make sure, this is the passenger side, that it's leaning that way. That's the back of the truck. Back of the truck. Now on that side you have an exhaust, so you want to put a heat shield on there and turn it towards the closest part of the exhaust. Okay? You want to put your cap on here, all that, and bolt it down, and put your your elbow air connection on there. So that's where we at. I'll go ahead and put this on and turn it towards the inside of the truck. So your airlines run to the inside of the frame. Like I said, turn that hand tight. 1/2 inch wrench, get on it, spin it around one more time. It's gonna get a little hard here, but that's okay, just go with it. You know it's good and tight that way. So, now we're gonna come over here, bang the camera around, stick this over in here, because it doesn't matter, you can't see anyways, but I'm doing the best I can. Let me show you here. There's your heat shield. That's the closest part of the exhaust. You want to turn it to where that goes and have that as close, you know, That's why I moved that over some, so it's not in danger of, you know, hitting anything in there. It stays away from everything. So now I'm gonna tighten them 2 bolts down on top before I forget and get everything else on. Get that big U-bolt. A couple of these nuts. I'll try to show you a little closer this time. It's gonna go down around like this. Okay. And it's gonna go around this into that bracket that you see the airbags on, and it's gonna clamp it and hold it like that on the 2 factory U-bolts for the springs. Now I'm putting everything together kind of loosely fit. That way I can adjust it all into place and nothing's in a bind by just getting it loosely attached. And then, and only then, I can torque her down. Where these go through is where your factory bump stop come off of. Okay? So there's a bump stop on your vehicle that is mounted to the frame, and if a shock or anything or spring would bust, it's mounted here and it goes down and it's rubber and it won't slam everything together and break it. So that is a factory bump stop. And where you see the airbag mounted now, the bump stop was mounted up to that frame. You just take that bump stop off, and then the top of this bracket to this airbag mounts right in its place. No drilling required. Let's see where we're at now. Everything copacetic. See what we can tighten up. Of course, I'm missing 1 nut. All I need is 1 nut, 1 nut. So now, you probably can't see, but you're gonna see right in this area, this is gonna go down around the axle and come up through, and these bolts are gonna go down and around through this and keep the other side of the bracket tight. 1, and there's a square at the top that fits in the square on the bracket, so this doesn't turn and you can crank the bolt below it and not worry about the bolt turning on you. On the other side, there's all kinds of brake lines in the way. This side, it's just an exhaust, so make sure that you make sure that you don't hit your head, or that you don't have a hot exhaust when you're doing this, because it could cause brain damage. So there you have it. We got our U-bolt around there. It comes into our bracket at the back. You see it right there? And you got the one that goes around your axle. And it goes up through the top of your plate right there. And of course your airbag got one flat screw up underneath it. See that? And you could probably get to it and adjust it from under here, but it's pretty hard. Then you got your plate on the front. Make sure it's angled the right way so the tilt is the same from your frame to your bump stop. Well, the video cut off. I hope I got all of it. But you want to run your air lines and keep it off of the frame. Any other moving parts that may wear a hole in it. But you also, I mean, there's places to mount it. You can mount your air pump in here or an air tank. But right now I'm just gonna run air lines to the back and pump it up with a air hose when I need to. So we'll be back with an outro ASAP. Okay guys, here we have it. The airbag's on, bolted up. You just take your tube and get down to it. You just press that in there. Make sure it goes in all the way. About 1/4 of an inch. And then you want to keep it away from anything that's going to have wear and tear on it. So zip tie it along your frame and down to where you take it out the back of the truck or to a compressor, whatever you choose. And the same thing on the other side. Now this side, as you can see, I brought it up this way, zip tied it over here. That way when the bed sits on or anything, it's not gonna crush that. And also keep it away from the exhaust. You know, we put that heat shield on there for that reason too. And then brought that up, zip tied it nice and secure all the way to the back. And there we go. I just took it right through the back by the license plate where I can take an air hose on each one. Now, if you want, you can take a splitter and go into one. They do have a T. You'll bring each one of these into a T and then one into these, and it'll keep both sides. But you never know. You may have an uneven load or something at some point, which I doubt it, but I'm just saying. I didn't have a T, so I ran it this way. But you can do it any way you want to. You can put some kind of air system on the front with the back, so you can get a compressor, you can get an air tank, you can get app for your phone here, and you can adjust all your weight on the fly. Now, I don't want to have an air ride system that is worth more than the truck. Although, you know, the truck is only worth as much as you think it is. So, and for us, we use it for work, and it's worth $1 million, but, you know, somebody else is worth $2. But anyways, guys, that is the end of the video. That's the finished product. Thank you again for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification button so you don't miss anything else. And off to this project. See you, bye.